You won't believe what this guy's camera just caught crawling out of the river. Rivers might look ordinary, but sometimes they hide dark secrets and frightening surprises. From hunger stones to haunted dolls, here are 20 terrifying things discovered in rivers. Number 20. NYC's East River Monster. As of 2021, there were 2.13 million species on the planet, according to data provided by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. However, it's believed that there are over 1.75 million species that are yet to be identified. Quite horrifying to imagine, right? Perhaps that's why, from time to time, we encounter creatures that puzzle and bewilder even scientists. Take, for instance, the East River Monster, a topic you might be familiar with. In 2011, this discovery captured the attention of New Yorkers and the internet alike. This unknown creature's body was discovered in the East River, near the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge. Quickly dubbed the East River Monster, the carcass, measuring 6 to 7 feet in length, sparked wild speculation about its origins. However, marine biologists identified it as an Atlantic sturgeon, known for its bony plates and ability to grow up to 12 feet long. The presence of such a large sturgeon, a species whose population has declined due to overfishing, in the East River was notable and suggested a possible recovery of their numbers in the area. Number 19. Scuba diving spiders. This might not sound scary to some of you guys, but for those deathly afraid of arachnids, it could be a pretty big deal. Did you know there's a chance you could encounter a spider while swimming in a river? Meet the diving bell spider, scientifically known as Argyroneta aquatica. This unique species, found in Europe and Asia, leads a life almost entirely underwater, challenging the traditional notion of a spider's habitat. Now, the secret to this arachnid's underwater ability is in its abdomen. This arachnid breathes air, which it traps in a dome-shaped web suspended between aquatic plants. These webs, often likened to scuba suits or gills, allow the spider to extract oxygen from the water, enabling it to stay submerged for prolonged periods. This air bubble then functions similarly to a gill, replenishing the oxygen from the surrounding water. Because there's no competition beneath the water, the spider can prey on more creatures like aquatic insects, crustaceans, mosquito larvae, and Daphnia. And while the spider is a predator, it isn't without its own threats, falling prey to creatures like frogs and fish. But if you really think about it, these spiders are quite helpful, don't you think? After all, they prey on harmful insects like mosquito larvae. I'm not too fond of spiders, but if I saw this guy hanging out in the nearby pond, I'd thank them for controlling the mosquito population. Number 18. Hunger stones. In today's era, we usually get our updates online. A crisis in the country? Check the internet for more information. Celebrity news? Social media has everything about that. Impending famine? The internet. However, in the past, way before the time of the internet and back when Christopher Columbus was still exploring the world, people relied on stones. Yes, you heard that right, stones. In 2022, a severe drought brought Europe's lakes and rivers to an all-time low. Surprisingly, the depleting waters revealed interesting inscriptions, the hunger stones. One of the most famous inscriptions was the hunger stone on the Elbe River in Dessau, Czech Republic. The messages were created from the 1600s, but older ones were found from 1417 and 1473. These hunger stones only appear during drought, and in the past, drought meant impending famine. If you see me, then weep, read the inscription in the Elbe. When this goes under, life will become more colorful again, is another message inscribed on one of the stones in the Rhine. Today, these hunger stones mean nothing to us. They were merely reminders about times when people were completely at the mercy of Mother Nature. We have no information as to which people or culture created these hunger stones, but many of them can be found all across Europe, leading archaeologists to believe it was a common practice to inscribe these warnings across many cultures at the time. Number 17. Spanish Stonehenge. It's easy to forget about things that have been kept hidden from sight. The story of the Spanish Stonehenge is the same. Also known as the Dolmen of Guadalcanal, the Spanish Stonehenge is a set of megalithic monuments hidden beneath the waves of the Valdecañas Reservoir in Cáceres, Spain. This impressive archaeological marvel dates back to between 4,000 and 7,000 years ago, but unlike its namesake on the plains of England, it's hidden and impossible to reach unless there's a drought. Composed of about 140 boulders arranged in a concentric circle, this structure likely served dual purposes as a temple and a cemetery. However, much of the site remains a mystery. Its last appearance was in 2022, a time when the drought affected most of Europe. This site was initially excavated in the 1920s by German researcher Hugo Obermeier, but its full extent remained underwater and largely unexplored until the recent drought. The unexpected way this site disappeared underwater might surprise you. Until 1963, the dolmen wasn't submerged, but under Francisco Franco's regime, the area where it's located was completely flooded to give way to a dam and a reservoir. Since then, the site has only been visible 4 times, leaving archaeologists little time to study it. Number 16. Bronze head of a Roman emperor. Now, this is quite an old discovery, but it's a bizarre find nonetheless. This bronze head was discovered in the River Thames near the London Bridge in 1834. Can you imagine the horror the person felt when he thought he just found a severed head? The bronze head, now housed in the British Museum, was originally part of a larger statue, 1¼ times life-size, likely erected in a public space like a forum. It would have been an imposing sight, symbolizing Roman authority and civilization. The statue may have been created to commemorate Hadrian's visit to Britain in 122 CE. Such imperial visits often sparked urban development and beautification projects, reinforcing the emperor's presence and power. Although broken and far from its original grandeur, the craftsmanship of the statue remains evident. Experts even claimed that the statue might have had eyes made out of glass when it was still in one piece. But who exactly is Hadrian, and why was he revered? Emperor Hadrian, born Publius Aelius Hadrianus on January 24, 76 CE, was among the great rulers of the expansive and influential Roman Empire. One of Hadrian's most notable contributions was his extensive travel throughout the Roman Empire. He spent a remarkable 12 out of his 21 years as emperor visiting various provinces, closely overseeing administration and maintaining the army's discipline. His devotion to the military was such that he often dined and slept among the common soldiers, despite his reign being marked by relative peace. But perhaps his most famous contribution was Hadrian's Wall in Britannia, a monumental fortification that marked the northern limit of Roman Britain and served as a symbol of Rome's power. Although this head might never reunite with the remaining part of the statue, it remains among the most bizarre and astounding things discovered in the River Thames. Number 15. Dark water. Like the boiling river, this discovery isn't an object but the river itself. Deep within the lush expanse of the Amazon rainforest lies the Black River, known as the darkest river in the world. Now, you're probably wondering just where its dark hue comes from. Fortunately, unlike most bizarre discoveries, scientists have the Black River all figured out. The river's strikingly dark hue comes from tannins, organic compounds released from decaying plant matter. These tannins not only give the Rio Negro its signature color but also contribute to its acidic nature, creating a unique ecosystem. Its bizarre-colored waters make people think there's no life in this body of water. However, in reality, this river is far from being lifeless. In fact, it's home to the most renowned creatures of the Amazon, from catfish to electric eels and piranhas. However, those who reside in the Black River have learned to adjust to the low-light environment. The rich ecosystem surrounding it and its unique chemical makeup have also made the Black River a focal point for scientific research, with studies delving into the sensory adaptations of its inhabitants, the river's chemical makeup, and its role in the carbon cycle of the Amazon basin. Number 14. Kangaroo fish incident. If you ever find yourself in the Amazon, this is the creature you should watch out for, the kangaroo fish. This translucent and agile swimmer has long been the subject of a particularly unsettling legend, that it can swim up the human urethra. But how true is this? Historically, there have been various accounts of the kangaroo invading human bodies, as noted by naturalist Paul Quant in 1891 and echoed by others like Gudger in 1930. However, these accounts often lack concrete evidence and remain largely anecdotal. In fact, the only documented case occurred in 1997 in Brazil, where a man claimed a kangaroo jumped from the water into his urethra while he was urinating in a river. However, even this claim is shrouded in mystery. But what's the undeniable truth? The kangaroo is a parasitic fish, typically attaching itself to the gills of larger fish and feeding on their body fluids. However, researchers in 2001 contested the claim that kangaroo are attracted to urine, suggesting they hunt by sight rather than smell. This debunks the popular belief and reduces the likelihood of such incidents. Over the years, various extreme and somewhat creative methods have been suggested to remove a kangaroo once lodged in a human body, ranging from the use of pliers, sounds painful, to more traditional remedies like drinking tea made from the hua fruit. But it's important to remember that these are more part of local lore and desperate attempts at solutions rather than medically advised procedures. In situations like this, it's always better to prevent than to cure. Number 13. Underwater monsters. The Gunch, it doesn't sound like the most intimidating name out there, but for those who know about this lore, this creature is to be feared. Known by various names across different regions, including Gunch in Urdu, Hindi, and Punjabi. This species is recognized for its substantial size and unique appearance. It can grow to an impressive 6 feet long and weigh over 200 pounds, boasting a large flat head equipped with 4 rows of sharp teeth. Primarily found in large rivers with fast currents in the Indian subcontinent, such as the Indus and Ganges basins, the gunch catfish thrives in deeper pools near faster currents, but is not found in small streams. Its massive size and predatory nature have earned it the nickname river monster, a title further cemented by infamous incidents like the Kali River Gunch attacks. Its fame spread mainly during the Kali River Gunch incidents between 1998 and 2000 in India and Nepal. The first occurrence in 1998 involved a 17-year-old being dragged underwater in front of eyewitnesses. Several more incidents and sightings followed suit. The fame of the gunch spread enough for British biologist Jeremy Wade to examine and study these creatures personally. Initially, Wade was skeptical about whether catfish could develop a penchant for humans. After all, there were plenty of prey in the waters, and a human seems like a lot of trouble to capture. He was shocked when he found out the truth. After encountering the massive gunch living in the Kali River, he later theorized that the creature might have developed a taste for human flesh, possibly due to consuming half-burnt human remains discarded from funeral pyres along the riverbanks. Truly a horrifying creature. Number 12. Victor's Way Indian Sculpture Park. Tucked away near Roundwood in County Wicklow, Ireland, lies Victor's Way, an intriguing Indian sculpture park. This privately owned meditation garden spans a 9-hectare property and is renowned for its striking black granite sculptures. Originally opened as Victoria's Way, the park was rebranded to its current name, Victor's Way, in 2016, specifically focusing on attracting a mature audience interested in contemplation and reflection. The artworks are deeply symbolic, blending elements of Indian philosophy and spirituality. The first statue to greet visitors is a fasting Buddha, setting the tone for the introspective journey ahead. Victor's Way is particularly famous for its 8 statues of Ganesha, the elephant-headed Hindu deity depicted in various dynamic forms, such as dancing, reading, and playing musical instruments. Intriguingly, all of Ganesha's sculptures were crafted in Tamil Nadu, India, each requiring a year's work by 5 artisans. However, our focus is on this sculpture, the ferryman's end. It's quite horrifying to see it springing out of the water. It depicts the end of a ferryman's journey, symbolizing the conclusion of life or a particular life phase. The sculpture is often viewed as a representation of the transition from life to death or ignorance to enlightenment. Its appearance can be unsettling or terrifying to some, not only because of its hideous appearance but also because of its thought-provoking meaning. Number 11. Statue Beneath the Waves. Imagine walking along the river and seeing a woman's face breaking through the water surface. You're horrified, only to realize it's a realistic statue. This is an art installation that people may or may not see while walking along the serene banks of Bilbao's River Nervión, depending on the water level. You may or may not witness this installation in its entirety. This startling sight, which first appeared unannounced, is the work of Mexican hyper-realist artist Ruben Orozco. Titled Bihar, which translates to tomorrow in Basque, the sculpture has intrigued and unsettled passersby since its mysterious arrival. This 264-pound fiberglass figure, partly submerged in the water, is not just a piece of art. It also entices passersby to think about the deeper meaning of this creation. What do you think this sculpture means? What's the message it's trying to evoke? Well, for me, it's the presence of living life to the fullest. I'm curious about your thoughts, so be sure to leave them in the comments. Number 10. Creepy dolls. If you fear dolls and find them creepy, perhaps this place might be something out of your nightmare. The Island of the Dolls, or La Isla de las Muñecas in Spanish, is a peculiar and eerie location situated in the canals of Xochimilco near Mexico City. This small island is famous for the hundreds of dolls hanging from its trees, and the story that came along with it is equally creepy. The story began when the island's caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, found a doll in the canal shortly after discovering the body of a drowned girl. He hung the doll in the trees as a tribute to her spirit. Over the years, he continued to hang more dolls, which he found or traded for, to please the girl's spirit. Following his death in 2001, the island became a public tourist attraction. It's known for its unsettling atmosphere, with dolls in various states of decay creating a haunting scene that draws ghost hunters from all around the globe. Number 9. Ball and Chain. This is among the most bizarre things found in London's River Thames, an iron ball and chain believed to date back to the 17th or 18th century. This artifact, which still had its lock, suggests a haunting possibility. A convict might have drowned while attempting to escape. The quality of the iron and the unique lock design hint at its European origins, possibly Germany. This find is rare, as complete sets of such fetters are seldom found. It's now displayed at the Museum of London Docklands, a stark reminder of a bygone era where convicts were often shackled on ships. The ball and chain, weighing around 1.64 pounds, has been well preserved by the Thames mud, known for its protective properties against metal decay. Number 8. Boiling River. Did you know that there's a river in Peru that boils animals to death? Sounds macabre, but that's Mother Nature for you. Tucked away in the heart of Peru lies this natural wonder, or should I say horror, the Shani Timpishka, better known as the boiling river of the Amazon. It is a geothermal marvel located in the Mayantuyacu area of Andoria, Peru, stretching over 4 miles, reaching a width of up to 82 feet, and a depth of around 20 feet. The Shani Timpishka is the largest thermal river in the world. This is nature's very own trap. After all, its waters are lethal, with temperatures that reach a scalding 207 degrees Fahrenheit, with some springs even reaching a boiling 210.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine a river so hot that its name means boiled by the heat of the sun. Unlike most hot springs and geothermal rivers associated with volcanic activity, the boiling river's heat source remains a mystery. Scientists believe that rainwater seeping deep into the earth gets heated due to the planet's natural geothermal gradient and then resurfaces, supercharging the otherwise normal stream into a boiling wonder. However, it's a mystery to this day. The locals have a different belief regarding this boiling river. Despite how dangerous it is to be around it, the local community respects the river as it's believed to be the abode of Yakamama, a giant serpent spirit. However, it's also threatened, much like the rest of the Amazon, by deforestation, illegal logging, and cattle farming. So if you somehow find yourself in the Amazon, you're better off not jumping into random bodies of water. Number 7. 18th century cannons. The discovery of 18th century British cannons in the Detroit River is a fascinating tale that illuminates several historical mysteries, particularly regarding the colonial-era militarization of the Great Lakes region. The discovery dates back to 1984 when divers first stumbled upon these heavy artifacts, each weighing over 1,200 pounds and capable of firing a 4-pound cannonball. Initially, the discovery was made near a ridge known as Chicken Bone Reef, just offshore from Cobo Hall in Detroit. Over the years, more cannons were found, including one in 2011 by a Detroit police diving team during a training exercise. In total, 6 cannons were recovered from the Detroit River, and another related cannon was found on the Lake Erie shore near Monroe. These cannons, primarily manufactured in Britain, with one from France, likely made their way to Detroit post the American Revolution when control of Detroit was crucial for strategic and trade reasons. The Detroit River from 1796 to 1812 was a pivotal location, essentially a linchpin upon which the balance of power in the frontier precariously rested. The reasons behind the submersion of these cannons in the river have been a subject of intrigue and speculation. Daniel Harrison, the lead researcher and an anthropology doctoral student at Wayne State University, suggests that the British, who controlled Detroit at the time, deliberately dumped the cannons into the river. The reasons might include the cannons being worn out or obsolete, especially when artillery technology was rapidly advancing. Moreover, there's a possibility that they were deemed too dangerous to fall into American hands. Today, these cannons serve not just as relics of a bygone era but as crucial pieces of historical evidence. They shed light on the colonial history of Detroit, which has yielded surprisingly few artifacts from its French and then British periods. The cannons are now displayed in various locations, including the Detroit Historical Society's Collections Resource Center at historic Fort Wayne, the Dawson Great Lakes Museum on Belle Isle, and the Michigan Historical Center in Lansing. Number 6. 15,000 bicycles. Did you know that over 15,000 bicycles have been recovered from Amsterdam's waters? Yep, you heard that right, and that's not to date. 15,000 bicycles are retrieved from these waterways almost annually. The reasons for this aquatic graveyard of bikes range from accidents and vandalism to simply being abandoned by their owners. This number is particularly striking given the locals' love for cycling. In fact, it's a place where bikes are the primary mode of transportation for many. The municipality has been proactive in addressing this issue, employing specialized boats with cranes and grappling hooks to salvage these submerged cycles. This effort not only cleans the canals, but also helps maintain the environmental health of these vital waterways. Number 5. Electric eels. The electric eel, a resident of the murky waters of South America, is a creature that's as fascinating as it is formidable. Despite being called an eel, it's actually a fish more closely related to catfish than true eels. These creatures can grow to over 6 feet long and weigh up to 44 pounds. Aside from their enormous size, these creatures are also horrific because of the electricity they can emit. These marine creatures are unique because they mainly rely on echolocation to navigate and hunt in their dark aquatic environment due to their poor vision. This nocturnal predator is known for its unique air-breathing capability, allowing it to survive in oxygen-poor waters. When faced with a dangerous predator, this creature can produce shocks up to a staggering 860 volts. This unique ability serves as the primary tool for hunting and self-defense. Electric eels have specialized electric organs containing electrocytes, cells that function like biological batteries. They stack these cells to amplify the electrical charge, which they can unleash in short, high-voltage bursts. While these shocks are powerful enough to stun prey or deter predators, they're not usually fatal to humans. However, the idea of a fish that can produce such a high voltage is shocking literally and figuratively. Number 4. Thames Nessie. You probably know about the Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, but did you know London's River Thames has its own version? Just take a look at this clip. This enigmatic sighting, captured by a person who happened to be living near the river, shows a dark object moving through the water near the O2 Arena. The footage led to wild speculations about the possible presence of the legendary Loch Ness Monster taking a detour from its Scottish home to the Thames, or perhaps it's another creature entirely. Some viewers of the footage entertained the idea of a mythical creature visiting London, while others proposed more rational explanations, such as a whale or a group of dolphins. After all, sightings of marine life like whales, porpoises, and dolphins in the Thames aren't entirely unheard of. For instance, over 2,000 seals and around 450 porpoises and dolphins have been sighted in the Thames in the past decade. Even the possibility of a sperm whale, which isn't native to the Thames, was considered, given that a young female whale was found in the river in 2006. Despite the speculation, experts have remained cautious and skeptical. The London Wildlife Trust, for example, acknowledged the footage but found it too unclear to identify the creature definitively. The excitement and mystery surrounding the sighting reflect our fascination with the unknown and the allure of legendary creatures like Nessie, which has captivated our imagination since it first made headlines in 1934. Number 3. Underwater monsters. The manatee, often called the gentle giant, can make quite a splash when startled in calm waters. For example, take a look at this video. Despite their hefty size, often weighing nearly half a ton, manatees are known for their docility and pose little to no danger to humans. They don't exhibit aggressive behaviors but instead display a curious and friendly demeanor towards humans, often approaching them out of curiosity. Manatees are also known for their splashing behavior when scared or startled. While they don't harm people or other animals, watching them can be pretty terrifying. Just take a look at this. If you didn't know any better, you would think that an underwater monster is hiding beneath the waves and creating these huge splashes. This bizarre and unique behavior could be a response to various disturbances, including the presence of boats or human interaction that they find intrusive or alarming. So, if you ever see these splashes while in water, just know that it's most likely just poor manatees that thought they were in danger. Number 2. Mata Mata. Sounds like an ominous name, right? However, in reality, the Mata Mata is a turtle, but it's far different from its other relatives. This creature resides in the murky waters of South America's Amazon and Orinoco basins. Its shell resembles a piece of bark, while its head resembles fallen leaves. Its appearance alone is enough to make it a contender for the title of one of the most bizarre and, some might say, horrifying creatures in river ecosystems. These creatures are predominantly sedentary, preferring to walk rather than swim in their slow-moving aquatic environments. They're also nocturnal and have a unique hunting technique. Despite their poor eyesight, Mata Mata turtles are equipped with sensory aids that help them detect movements in the water. When a fish comes close enough, they move their prey into shallow water, encircle it, and wave their front legs to prevent escape. Then, the turtle quickly thrusts out its head, opens its mouth, and contracts its pharynx, creating a vacuum with its wide-open mouth to suck in the prey. The feeding technique is known as suction feeding. After capturing the fish, the Mata Mata turtle closes its mouth, expels the water, and swallows the prey whole as it cannot chew due to its mouth structure. This method of suction feeding is both fascinating and a tad unnerving. Yes, these guys are pretty voracious eaters. Their mating behavior is also quite bizarre. During courtship, male Mata Mata turtles extend their limbs and lunge their heads toward females with their mouths wide open. They also move the lateral flaps on their heads as part of their display. The Mata Mata turtle's unique appearance, feeding behavior, and mating rituals make it one of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures of the Amazon River basin. Now it's time for today's topic. It's undeniable that there are a lot of unknown creatures yet to be discovered on Earth. Some of the most curious places on our planet are swamps and rivers. These bodies of water are often the setting for mysterious incidents. Many videos float around the internet showing cryptids and unknown creatures emerging from rivers and swamps. For instance, just take a look at this photo. It appears to be a woman with the features of a fish. Do you think this may be an actual merfolk, or could this be just another hoax? As always, comment down below and let us know your opinion about what we just showed on screen. With that said, let's keep things moving. Number 1. Stone River. Nestled in the southern Ural Mountains of Russia is a river like no other. After all, instead of water, it's filled with massive stones. The origin of the Stone River dates back to the last glaciation, more than 10,000 years ago. During this period, glaciers covered the peaks of the Taganay Mountains, which reached heights of up to 4,800 meters. The immense pressure and weight of the ice pulverized the mountaintop into large boulders. As the ice retreated, it left behind a trail of these rocks, creating the Big Stone River. Well, this kind of river is definitely not the kind you'd take a dip in. What do you think of these discoveries? Perhaps some of you guys have a similar story. If so, feel free to share your stories in the comments down below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.